Hi everyone, it's Rob Watson, the module leader for TECH3501 Community Media Leadership, and this is the overview summary video for the 20th lecture. And what we're looking at in this session is the idea of academic evidence and what it means for us to be able to gather evidence and support our claims and our discussions in a verifiable way as part of a learning community, if you like. So it's a kind of open and shared process. At the moment, there's a lot of debate and discussion, if you like, moral outrage about the fake news phenomena and agenda, which kind of is about, I suppose, in a way, somebody saying that my news is real news and your news is fake news. And it's kind of like, we get caught in this kind of tit for tat argument. And is there a way out of it? Well, of course there is a way out of it. Show us your evidence. So what is it that you have as evidence that supports the claims that you're making? If you can't provide any evidence for it, then obviously it's fake news. So if you are making a claim about a particular social situation, that's great. But is it just our opinion? Is it just our emotional belief? Or is it something that we can verify through collection of evidence and the collection of facts and data and information? So this is a really important process because the academic process is something which should be open, it should be transparent, and it should be accountable, so that if we can make claims and we can draw inferences and conclusions from our data, one of the things that we want to be able to do is challenge existing ideas, or be open to the challenge of our ideas, so that people don't just look at these things in a taken for granted kind of way. Evidence isn't a black box. It's not a magic box that kind of, there's a mystical, magical process that goes on inside, and somehow out of this emerges or comes a sense of, kind of this is what's right and this is what's wrong. No, it's a verifiable process. We ask the question, well, how does this work? How are you gathering your evidence? How is it that you're drawing the conclusions from the evidence that you've gathered that you are? And is this sustainable? Is this something which follows logical conclusions? And is it something which draws from the empirical evidence that we can see before us? Now, we'll touch on the difference between quantitative and qualitative, and the evaluation process that we discussed in this module so far has very much been about qualitative evaluation, so the ethnographic approach. And it's the idea really that quantitative evaluation is maybe measurement, calculations, categorizations, naming things, whereas the qualitative approach is more about the processes that drive social change and the relationships that are built between people and social groups and what drives them and the kind of motivations. And really in the sense that we are using our subjective experience as a valid tool for research and investigation. We are part of the investigation process, but there is a way to explain that your subjective experience is not just subjective to your bonkers beliefs, if you like, but is something which is verifiable because you show them, you provide them as evidence, you keep a record of how you've engaged with particular issues and topics and subjects, and you have a record and an account of how that works. So there's a reflexive element to this process where we include ourselves in the evidence gathering process. So what we'll do is we'll look through this in terms of what the kind of the expectations are of a standard academic process, and the idea that we are able to share and exchange conversations and discussions with people around the world, and that there are forums and that there are academic forums for the discussion journals, those kind of things, which really are about people sharing their views and ideas, but that there is a verifiable evidence gathering process which you don't have to agree with, but you can look to and say, yes, this is a legitimate way of gathering evidence. I might not agree with your conclusions or the inferences that you bring from that evidence, but I'm not questioning your evidence gathering techniques, and they don't stay fixed. It's kind of, you clear a patch, and in the process, as you clear the patch, you discover that there are other things that you need to deal with and attend to. So we can solve a particular set of problems, but what's perhaps more important about this process is that we also anticipate what the future problems might be. So we're not just problem solving, but we're problem posing as well. So we're asking the question, what are the future issues that we need to deal with, and how can we build up an evidence base that will convince other people that we need to be dealing with these problems? So it's not just about taking the world at face value. It's not just about accepting received wisdom. It's about engaging with a process and a conversation and a dialogue that questions and challenges and engages with the process of investigation itself. So we are, the academic process is very important, and there are periods of time where the academic process has been less objective than it might otherwise be. And thinking of something like the tobacco industry in the 50s, 60s and 70s spent a lot of money employing academics and researchers and experts to argue that tobacco was harmless, when in actual fact the evidence was clearly pointing to the fact that tobacco was killing people and causing cancer and misery in the process. So the academic process is really important, that we lose sight of that objectivity, and objectivity comes through transparency. Objectivity comes through shared, accountable demonstration of the techniques that we use to gather evidence and the logical frameworks, if you like, and the arguments that we draw from that evidence for which we use to form our conclusions. So what I'll do is I'll go through some of the kind of key issues, kind of our critical thinking skills, and how this really kind of relates to the process of sharing and developing a report, and how we can use these techniques to engage with other people who are interested in similar issues and similar problems, and who are looking for solutions and wanting to address future problems as well. So the notes for this session are up on the DMU Commons wiki. Just go to wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk and search for the TECH3501 page sections, and if you want to carry on the conversation, go over to talk.our.dmu.ac.uk and log in and either start a topic or add a topic as you wish. But I'll see you at the lecture.